I sat scrunched against one door, and Bob sat scrunched against the other door. And we didn't hold hands or anything like that. We just talked.
Because I thought, God's not answering my prayers, or, Bobby, I thought he should be trying not to be gay.
Bob didn't want to be gay. He told me that. I don't think he wanted... Not only did he not want to have sex with another man, he didn't want to acknowledge that he wanted love from another man. I think he was scared of men, gay men, because of that. He just didn't want to be gay, but he was. And there was nothing he could do about it.
Tomorrow I have an appointment for a modeling job in San Francisco. It's the kind of modeling job where you do more than stand in front of the camera. In 3 days, I made $200 the easy way, if you get my drift. I pretend I'm playing a whore in an old movie. And that makes it a lot easier because then it's not really happening to me. I'm in one of my desperate moods. I hate it. I almost went over to the Wicked City today, but where would that have gotten me? I want to die. Why don't I? I want to be evil, evil, evil. I am evil and wicked. I'm dirt. I was innocent, trusting, loving. My voice is small and unheard, unnoticed, damned. I've moved to Portland, Oregon. I'm starting a new chapter in my life. I'm going to forget the past, just erase it from my memory. The hardest part of all was leaving, saying goodbye to my family. It was hard because I know I love them.
Bobby came up to Portland, and he ended up renting a room in the same house that I lived in because it was closer to his work. And there were times when I could see that he was unhappy. I certainly never imagined that he would kill himself.
I went to a bar in Portland. I haven't ever been so nervous in my life. Then I saw Keith and some of his friends. That helped a lot. At least I had someone to talk to. Then we were going to go to the Continental Baths, but he didn't have enough money, so he just dropped me off at home. I can't let anything ruin my new life, especially something as dumb as sex. Tomorrow I will have been in Oregon for 4 months. I don't feel as though I fit in here very well. It feels like I'm standing alone in a dark room, and I fear everything that's in front of me.
He came down here, I believe it was in July of '83. There was just something that was very distant about Bobby. It's like a wall had been thrown up between us, worse than before. My husband Bob had talked to Bobby to try to persuade him not to follow the gay lifestyle. And I think he probably would have stayed, but nothing had changed. And he really had second thoughts about, he said he really thought it was silly to spend a couple of $100 just to hear another sermon.
And the night he died, he kind of looked like he wanted to talk to me, but he didn't. All I can say is that I knew that Bobby was depressed and in a thoughtful mood that night, and that we had dinner, and he didn't really talk about what was on his mind.
I mean, God was supposed to heal Bobby.
He took the bus downtown to go dancing, and and didn't come back.
My mother said when I first came out that she was very proud of the fact that I was able to be so open in an environment that's not very accepting of the lifestyle that I've chosen. And she was just very very happy that I could be happy living this way, and that I was determined to be happy and stuff like that. And she's been very supportive. She gives me advice on my relationships, and she asks me embarrassing questions like, how is your love life and stuff like that.
I'd say to a young lesbian couple in high school, a gay couple, that it may seem like that's the only world there is, but there's really a whole other world out there, and
After high
nobody,
school.
yeah, and nobody can make your love not valid, because as long as you feel it inside, no matter what anybody says about God, about child molesters, about AIDS, they're all talking out of ignorance and fear, and they really don't understand, and they don't know.
Being gay is not the end-all, be-all. There's still a life afterwards. It's just like being black. It's just another part of you. You can be black, white, whatever. Being gay is you.
I think maybe the biggest reason that I'm different from most kids is that not a lot of kids can say that they've experienced something that really forced them to look at themselves and help themselves emotionally. At my school, we have this annual dramatic interpretation contest. It's called the De Havilland Cup. So I went to the library and I checked out all of the monologue books, all of the gay and lesbian playbooks, and I finally found a monologue by Frank Pike, and it was about a woman who came out to her family, and her family's they're Orthodox Jews, and when she came out to them, they did this ritual called Shiva, and that involved, to them, that meant she was dead.
I picked up a ladle and circled the table, screaming and yelling like there was no tomorrow. And I stood behind Mama, and I yelled in her ears. And I shook Daddy violently. I grabbed his head and I tried to make him look at me. His glasses flew off, I remember, clear across the table. Mama quietly got up, brought the dessert. Stopped screaming. I let go. I picked up Daddy's glasses and put them back on him. And then I ran out the back door, across the patio, through the garden. I went back home before I left for Philadelphia. The doors were locked.
Gina, thank you. That was a very, very dramatic piece of literature. I wonder how many of you saw that monologue last year at the Drama Assembly. Only 4 of you. Okay, and the rest of you, this is the first time you've seen it. What was the response? Do you know of this monologue? Did you hear your friends say anything about it? What do you guess the response was based on what you know about the homophobia in this school?
I had a lot of people coming up to me saying, is Gina a dyke? And he's saying, well, that's really not up to me to say. If you want to know that, you should be asking her, not me. And then people then seeing me hug Gina at school or something, coming up to me saying, Erin, are you a dyke? And me saying, well, I had a similar experience with a friend. After the speech contest, she asked me if Gina was gay, and I said, well, I didn't, it wasn't any of my business, and it wasn't any of hers, and I didn't really care anyway. And she didn't understand how I could feel that way. And I was trying to explain it to her, and we had been out to a movie, and I was dropping her off at her house. I went to give her a hug goodbye, because I hug all my friends. And I reached for her, and she backed away and said, no, what we were talking about earlier, you're a lesbian. And I sort of went, oh. And she didn't talk to me for a week at school, and I decided, I don't want to be friends with this person. There's no reason.
So it's guilt by association. Do you think the campus was this homophobic before and they just didn't show it, but now that Gina got up in front of the whole school and did this monologue, that now it's kind of coming out of the woodwork?
Is that what we're seeing now?